Whoever comes to America comes to build a cultural empire. Everyone except African Americans. So when you travel the country, you got a little Italy in every major city.
Right.
You got a Chinatown in every major city. You even see little Cambodias popping up now around the United States.
Martin Luther King in every city too.
Exactly. Well, you
living
got a Martin Luther King Jr. Street.
Yeah, street.
You have a Martin Luther King Jr. Street,
Right.
but there's no Africa town. There's no place in Black America you can go and find the 4 essential institutions needed for a community: bank, school, supermarket, hospital. And you know why that's ironic? Last year, Black America in 2016, we spent $2 billion on Air Jordans, $4 billion on liquor and alcohol, $600 million on fast food, and we bought twice the amount of Mercedes-Benzes as white America, although white America has twice the wealth of Black folk. So the question becomes, what is it about the Mercedes-Benz that makes it so attractive to African Americans even when they can barely afford it? And it's because it's a status symbol.
That's all.
And one thing we know about oppressed people, when you can enjoy true freedom, you surround yourself with the symbols of that freedom.
Absolutely.
And that's why the Louis bag is so important. That's why our children will kill for Air Jordans. It's not the sneaker, it's what it represents. And if I believe I'm worthless, that means I can only add value to myself by what I put on my body as opposed to what I put in it.
How do we stop that? How do we?
Let's go to college. We all went to college. Remember in college?
Well, not mine.
Okay, but you've been on campuses, and you notice how fly the Black undergraduates dress, right?
Right.
But then when it come time to pay that tuition, half of them got to take off a semester because they ain't got the money.
Right.
But look how you drive, and
No,
look how
we
you.
didn't drive.
Because in most
It's
places now,
very
you went to a
I
HBCU.
went to Hampton.
You
know, the females dressed up and then the fellas
Exactly.
dressed up. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It was what it was.
And I remember we had a financial aid seminar by the director of admissions. And he said, I don't understand y'all. He said, y'all got money for chains, y'all got money for Powerhouse, y'all got money for Jordans, y'all got money for nice cars, but you ain't got the money to pay your tuition. And you know what that's about? It's about priorities. I was at a home ownership seminar, and guess what the white guy said? He was from a bank, and he was honest. I agreed with him. He said, listen, it's not always about racism, although that was incorrect. But the point that he made next was correct. He said, the problem is when y'all come to us for a loan, when African Americans walk into a white bank for a loan, what normally disqualifies you isn't even your credit so much or your employment history. It's your priorities. You often buy your car before you buy your house. Even if you have a half decent income, if you already bought the caddy truck, the Benz, the Mercedes, and you're coming to look for a home after the car, I know that if you fall into tough economic times and you have to make a decision between your mortgage or your car note, you're going to pay your car note first.
Yeah, because I ain't bringing people over to the house, but they going to see me pulling up all the time. So
Exactly.
I got to keep that truck, man.
Exactly. Exactly. Now, people ask me, what can we expect from a Donald Trump White House for Black America? And the answer is real simple. You can expect exactly what you got from a Obama White House. Absolutely nothing. See, the Obama years, and it's our fault, not Obama's, because we took a time out from political social agitation, we created an atmosphere in America where it's safe to ignore Black people because Black people voluntarily ignored themselves for 8 years.
You know why? Because Barack was that caddy truck. He was a symbol.
He was the symbol.
And we was happy with the symbol.
Without substance. And that's our problem. Now remember, right after Trump got elected, it was a women's march. Remember that? A lot of the same white women who put Trump in office turned around and marched. It wasn't because they were against Trump. Remember, after the Dr. King assassination, America decided on a social policy of never allowing the Black agenda to be primary ever again. So whenever a president is elected, they automatically give them a non-Black minority issue that will pretty much define their campaign. So with Barack Obama, it was the LBGT. So when he got elected, he went to war for the LBGTs as a way to eclipse our issues. As soon as Donald Trump got elected, you had the Women's March. So they're making it, and you had the immigrant situation right after that. So the minority issues during the Trump administration is going to be female issues and immigrant issues. No time for Black. Here's the situation. Until we hate racism more than we hate each other, nothing's going to change. See, our problem is totally mental. We're $1 trillion people. We got all the degrees we need, all the expertise. But you know what we're lacking? That cultural commitment to ourselves. We're the only group who don't have
I
it.
was going to say that it almost feels like before we can fight racism, we have to fight self-hate.
Yeah, you're going to have a civil war.
Because we don't necessarily support ourselves. You know,
Not at all.
We don't help each other.
We're
we don't look for each
anti-African.
other. And a lot of times when, you know, it's difficult because it always seems like it's always a scheme. It's always something like
We don't trust each other.
You got two major issues supporting exactly what you said: an identity crisis and psychological homelessness. An identity crisis. Black people know they're not American, but they will fight like hell to protect that identity because they don't want to be identified with who they really are, and that's being African. We hate our Africanity. That's exactly why when I created the Unapologetically African movement, you see how quickly it morphed into Unapologetically Black. I never said unapologetically Black. I said unapologetically African. But even within the Black consciousness community, we are still anti-African because deep down within our subconscious, we were all conditioned by the same superstructure that made us feel that Africa wasn't anything worth claiming. So the Blackness is a step away from whiteness, Envy,
right?
But it's still 10 steps away from your Africanity.
Raised like that, you know, as a kid, I'm not gonna say my parents, but you always know when you get out the hood, you're doing well. When you live with the white folks, you're doing well.
Exactly.
When you have a lawyer and your lawyer's white, you're doing well. When you have a white accountant, you're doing well. That's
so your standard of excellence is outside of your community.
Absolutely.
And we're the only people who have a standard of excellence, an ideal to achieve, that was created by our oppressors.
See,